Do you believe wholeheartedly that Jay-Z your father?
I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like, it's not far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have to do.
Yeah. Are you scared for your life? It's unfortunate that you were shot at. I'm glad that you were okay from that. Do you think that was a situation where you were targeted? And if so, are you scared for your life?
No, I'm not scared for my life. I mean, it was a scary situation. I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm just asking everybody, all the judges or anybody who's working on the case, to do what's right and do their job the correct way, even if you overlook something or didn't see something. Everybody makes mistakes, as I said before, but it's time to actually do your job and look at everything and get it correct.
A federal judge ordered Jay-Z to take a paternity test. Less than 48 hours later, his alleged son's car was sprayed with bullets. This wasn't a coincidence, it was a warning. And the message was crystal clear: stay quiet or else. But this isn't just street drama. This is a legal war, a media cover-up, and a billion-dollar empire trying to shut one man down before the truth ruins everything. In 1992, Jay-Z allegedly hooked up with a 16-year-old girl named Wanda Satterthwaite, who the streets called Precious. They had a quick hookup, protected, but not protected enough. She later said the condom broke, so she got pregnant. And from that point on, her entire life became a battlefield, because Jay-Z just vanished. She couldn't reach him. There was no Instagram, no cell phones, no team of stylists tracking his every move. She never saw him again, and she was only 16. When she gave birth, Wanda was literally unconscious in the hospital bed, and that's when her boyfriend at the time, Robert Graves, signed the birth certificate. According to people close to Wanda, Robert knew that child wasn't his, but he signed anyway to collect extra government benefits like food stamps. And here's where the trauma starts to compound. When Rymir was 8 years old, Wanda sat him down and told him the truth. Jay-Z is your father.
I was 7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now, and she been saying Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling it Jay-Z. And I really didn't know who that was because I was young and had my little brother, and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really just was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know it is. This person is your father.
She never changed her story. For years, she begged for Jay-Z to take a paternity test, even offering to handle things privately. He didn't respond. But Wanda didn't quit. She fought through dead ends, denied motions, lawyers who ghosted her, judges who told her she was wasting the court's time. And eventually, when she realized she might not survive the fight, she did something she hoped would outlive her. She signed a sworn affidavit, naming Jay-Z as Rymir's father. In 2019, Wanda passed away from heart failure. And one of the last things she told Rymir was to keep pushing and that the truth would come out one way or another. And this wasn't a woman who wanted fame or headlines. She wanted her child to know where he came from, but Jay-Z kept silent. Now, Rymir is a grown man, determined to finish what his mother started. In 2014, he filed a civil paternity suit against Jay-Z, this time with the help of his godmother and legal guardian, Lily Coley, who had been by his side since Wanda's health started declining. And that's when things got shady, like very shady. Jay-Z didn't respond to the case like a regular person. Instead, his lawyers allegedly created a legal maze, full of delays, misdirection, and lies, designed to stop one simple thing from happening: a swab in the mouth. Let that sink in. Instead of taking a DNA test, Jay-Z's legal team allegedly decided to break the system. Here's how they allegedly did it. When Rymir and Lily filed the lawsuit, they filed it in New Jersey, because that's where Jay-Z's alleged hookup with Wanda took place. And it's also where he was rumored to own property. The plan was simple: prove that Jay-Z had ties to New Jersey, so the court had the right to demand a test. But Jay-Z's team responded with a legal curveball. They claimed he didn't live in New Jersey, and therefore, the court had no jurisdiction over him. Problem is, there's evidence he did own property in New Jersey. Receipts from property records, tax filings, and even documents from Jay-Z's own business filings suggest he had multiple ties to the state. Yet his team allegedly used an address in New York to dodge the case. That one move got the whole thing tossed, but it didn't stop there. According to Lily, Wanda was forced to sign away her rights while sedated in a hospital during a serious medical episode. She had just been through a coma, and while still recovering, Jay-Z's legal team allegedly showed up with papers for her to sign. She didn't even know what she was agreeing to. That one move gave Jay-Z's lawyers an upper hand, and once again, the case got tossed. And that's not even the worst part. Lily claims that Rymir's own legal team may have secretly been colluding with Jay-Z's side. We're talking about lawyers who allegedly switched sides, introduced procedural errors, and botched filings so badly that it almost looked intentional. So not only was the opposing side playing dirty, their own side might have been helping them do it. The court system didn't care. They threw out the case again. And the deeper Rymir and Lily pushed, the more sealed documents they found. And all of this, for what? To avoid a swab? Because if you're not the dad, why go this far? Let's be real. It's not just about the paternity. It's about what that DNA would expose. Because if Jay-Z is the father, the world finds out he had a child with a 16-year-old girl, which could legally be classified as statutory in several states, depending on when and where it happened. Now everyone's asking, was this really just about a paternity test? Or was Jay-Z trying to erase something bigger? Even when Rymir filed motions in the Supreme Court to unseal old records, they were denied. Not because they were wrong, but because the Supreme Court said it lacked jurisdiction to get involved. Every door they knocked on slammed in their face.
We didn't have enough information to keep the case going, so it was a big case to me because, you know, I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than what it was, but, well, I really feel like it should have been over with because, you know, I feel like if it was anybody else, you know, like, I'm not saying this because people got higher standards or people make more money than that, but it's just different because, you know, if it was anybody else that made a low income, I feel like they would have had them in there way faster than people that's wealthy.
But then everything shifted. A federal judge finally stepped in and ruled that Jay-Z must respond to the paternity suit. And here's the key detail people missed. If Jay-Z fails to respond, New Jersey law says he is legally presumed the father. That ruling forced the game to a close. No more ducking, no more ghosting. Jay-Z had two choices: take the test or forever be listed as the dad in the eyes of the law. And right after that ruling, Rymir gets shot at. So let's talk about what happened after that July 18th court order dropped. Just when the courts finally stopped protecting Jay-Z, everything got dangerous. In September 2023, just weeks after the judge's ruling, Rymir says he was shot at in his own driveway. He was with other people. The parking lot was full, but somehow, only his car was hit.
Yeah. Are you scared for your life? It's unfortunate that you were shot at. I'm glad that you were okay from that. Do you think that that was a situation where you were targeted? And if so, are you scared for your life?
No, I'm not scared for my life. I mean, it was a scary situation. It was a scary situation, but, you know, it's just unfortunate. You know, I'm from North Philadelphia. I'm not saying I got nothing to do with it, but I saw a gunshot, I heard gunshots, and saw crazy shit before. So, but it definitely was a scary situation because I never been through it. I barely come outside and I stay to myself. So it's like, you know.
Lily confirmed the entire incident during their interview on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, saying it felt like retaliation for going public.
Somewhere in September, he was in the parking lot with other people near where he's at living now. And out of all the cars there, his was the only one shot up. So we believe that was a nexus or a connection, I believe, between the case and what's going on because it was around the time. In addition to that, we've had people come to my home in the past, driving on the grass. We have people knocking on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've been through all of it, mostly around the filing time. So this is a bigger picture than this. We want to try to make a difference with the Pro Se Act or the Legal Abuse Act, bringing new legislation and trying to sit down at the table with the lawmakers to make a difference.
This wasn't the first time they felt unsafe. Lily says she and Rymir had been stalked, followed, and threatened for years while trying to push this case forward. And the closer they got to forcing Jay-Z into that DNA test, the more intense the intimidation got. Now here's where things get next level messy. According to Lily, they believe Beyonce herself got involved behind the scenes. It's almost like she's the one pulling all the strings.
People were saying that she's a big part of the problems for him, and some of the things that she was doing, a woman would not, she would have some sort of role in what her husband does. And if she was secure with herself and with the situation, not saying you gotta like it, she would have her husband handle it.
They say Beyonce wanted Rymir shut down quietly, not because she was scared he was lying, but because she allegedly feared what the truth would do to their billion-dollar family image. She allegedly wanted the entire case killed before it reached the media. Even when Jay-Z's team briefly suggested signing Rymir to Roc Nation, Lily says Beyonce wasn't having it. That offer disappeared overnight, and let's not forget the music shade. Jay-Z dropped his now infamous bar in Heard About Us, singing Billie Jean in his prime, for the 1000th time, the kid ain't mine. Online they call me Dad. Kiddingly, you're not supposed to take this dad thing literally. That's too famous. We don't even really do famous. I'm cool on that. Chuck the 2 fingers. Every day I'm getting sued, I show up to court without a suit. Your every move is on the news, ain't it? Ish has its perks too, ain't it? That wasn't about some random rumor. That was a direct shot at Ramir, who at that point had been trying to get a test for over 10 years. So what did Ramir do? He clapped back with a track of his own, throwing lines like, "Ninjas wash up still doing tracks like 55 where the F you at, need to go back to your old days, grown man in his old ways." He said it wasn't about dissing Jay-Z, it was about taking back his voice. Because if Jay was going to dismiss him in a $1 billion studio session, he had the right to respond in his own way. By this point, Lily said they started documenting everything. Timestamps, damage photos, names, cars, drive-bys. They sat down with Tasha K, they spoke to The Sun, they went to Hip Hop Uncensored. Because if they got erased, at least the story wouldn't. By this point in the story, Ramir wasn't just fighting for DNA results. He was fighting an entire legal system that seemed more interested in protecting Jay-Z's image than delivering any kind of justice. And the deeper you go into the receipts, the clearer it becomes. This was never a fair fight. Let's start with the fact that 6 judges were involved in this case over the years, and somehow none of them made Jay-Z take a paternity test. And in 2023, Ramir and Lily filed a new lawsuit accusing the New Jersey court system of fraud, obstruction, and civil rights violations. They weren't suing Jay-Z directly this time. They were going after the judges who allegedly conspired to protect him. He said it all in this video.
Everybody makes mistakes, as I said before, but it's time to actually do your job and look at everything and get it correct, because you cannot use fraud to continue anything in this world. You can't use fraud to help you get forward in life. Then try to continue on your fraud, or continue using fraud to get forward in life, and the courts just let you do that. That's unconstitutional, and I think we should really be looking to fix that problem.
Even worse, when Ramir asked for the records from those early hearings to be unsealed, the Supreme Court refused, not because he was wrong, but because they said they didn't have jurisdiction. And here's the thing. In New Jersey law, if someone refuses a paternity test and there's enough supporting evidence, that person is presumed to be the father, which means that by law, Jay-Z could have already been declared Ramir's dad, but the court just didn't enforce it. And now, this case has cost him 14 years of legal fees, court filings, and emotional stress, all just to get one answer. It's obvious this case was intentionally sabotaged to protect Jay-Z's legacy and avoid public fallout.
It's crazy. It really is crazy. These judges, these lawyers, this fraud, collusion, who knows what it's for, money or friendships or whatever they got going on. But I can honestly say that we should never go in the courtroom feeling like we're already the victims and we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong but coming here, tell you guys the truth, put our life on the line.
Because let's be honest, if this ever goes to trial, if Jay-Z's name gets dragged into court alongside claims that he fathered a child with a minor in this post-R. Kelly era, it won't be a paternity story anymore. It'll be a PR apocalypse. After nearly 2 decades of silence, sealed files, threats, fake addresses, and missed court dates, the countdown is finally on. Jay-Z has until July 18th to respond to the federal judge's order. If he doesn't, he's legally presumed to be Ramir's father. But that's not the only thing hanging in the air right now. Because behind the scenes, there's another story. One that might explain why Jay-Z has fought so hard to keep this all buried. Word on the street is that Ramir isn't the only secret child. For years, insiders have whispered about a secret daughter, a woman who's older than Ramir, allegedly born from a different early 90s fling. But unlike Ramir, she didn't go public because, allegedly, Jay-Z paid her to stay quiet. And according to this creator, Wendy Williams was one of the first to call him out.
Wendy Williams explained how Jay-Z has a secret baby by Free from 106 & Park. Now, we know Wendy Williams always kept us rolling with the tea, and Wendy Williams was the first person to expose that Jay-Z had a secret baby by Free. She explained how she was told that Jay-Z and 50 Cent were in the delivery room when Free had her baby. And we know that there have been rumors for years that Jay-Z had a secret baby by Free, and how she was allegedly paid off to keep quiet, and that's why she disappeared from 106 & Park and we've never heard from her again. And honestly, these rumors of Jay-Z having these secret babies back then were huge. There was like 5 different women back then that were rumored to have children with Jay-Z. And yes, when all of this was going on, he was with Beyonce.
That changes everything, because it proves a pattern. Deny the child, but fund the silence. If Jay-Z was willing to allegedly support a daughter quietly, why not Ramir? Why fight this boy so hard? The answer may come down to 2 things. Wanda was underage, and Ramir spoke up. And now, it might be too late to clean it up. Ramir isn't after money. He said it again and again.
I'm just really coming out here for the truth. I don't want no money or anything. I wasn't looking for none of that. I just want to know the truth. And if I can't go to the courts and get the truth, like, what is it really? Why are you? What is it? I just really want it over. It's something that's really affecting my life.
But Lily's lawsuit is going further. They're not just asking for a DNA test anymore. They're demanding punitive damages, full unsealing of court records, an official jury trial, and a criminal investigation into court collusion. This is no longer a civil nuisance. This could trigger more lawsuits, more exposure, and more secret children coming forward. And if Beyonce really did play a part in keeping it quiet, that's not just a messy situation, that's a brand crisis, one that affects everything. And let's be honest, the Carters are media-trained pros. They've handled scandals before. But this is the one they've never been able to kill because it's not rumors anymore. For now, Remir is left in limbo. He wants to keep fighting, even if it takes the rest of his life.
You don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take a no. I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot, seeing a lot. I can take me being embarrassed. Like, this can't take nobody not saying nothing.
Now he's got two choices. Take the test or let that court paper call him dad forever. And if you think Remir was the only one, wait until you hear about the daughter Jay-Z's team allegedly bought a house for in Connecticut. That girl never filed a lawsuit, and she's never had to work a day in her life since. You've seen the war. Now meet the one who stayed silent for a price.